Good evening. On behalf of the Scottsbluff-Gearing United Chamber of Commerce, welcome to this evening's candidates forum for the 2022 primary election. This candidates forum features the Scottsbluff County Commissioner District 3 race. This candidates forum is one of several being presented by the Government Affairs Committee of the Scottsbluff-Gearing United Chamber of Commerce. Along with my co-chair, Don Wolf, my name is Bill Boyer, and we appreciate you joining us. We would like to thank the Rural Radio Scottsbluff staff for recording this forum so you can view it, as well as Scottsbluff County Clerk Kelly Sides for hosting us this evening in the Commissioner's Room. As a reminder, there are two Republican candidates running for Scottsbluff County Commissioner in District Number 3. In the May 10th primary election, you will be allowed to vote for one candidate. The top vote getter in the primary election will advance to the November general election. There are no candidates from any other political party running at this time, so most likely the winning candidate will be unopposed in the general election. Before we meet the candidate here with us tonight, we have one of two candidates here. So we will give this candidate 90 seconds to respond to each question, and then there's an additional 30-second period if needed. After the final question, our candidate will be allowed for a 1-minute closing statement. There are timers in the room, and all candidates were informed of the format and rules prior to tonight. None of the questions have been given to the candidate in advance. The candidate with us tonight from District 3 is Charlie Knapper. Timothy Beeman was not able to attend tonight's forum. Per the rules, statements can be read for those candidates who are unable to attend. Here is the statement from Mr. Beeman. I want to thank the Scottsbluff and Gearing Chamber of Commerce for putting on this forum. I apologize that I am unable to attend due to a prior commitment. My name is Tim Beeman, and I am running for the District 3 County Commissioner position. I am not a Scottsbluff County native, but I consider this my home and have chosen to raise my children here. I moved here in 2002 and have watched the county grow in areas and shrink in others. As a candidate for county commissioner, my goal would be to work to help make Scottsbluff County a prosperous, safe place that its citizens can be proud to call home. I have been asked to run for this position in the hopes of bringing some common sense ideas to the table, as well as being a voice for the citizens who live in this county. When I decided to accept this challenge, I was asked by several people what my agenda was. My answer to that is, I don't have an agenda. If I am fortunate enough to be elected, I will bring my life's experiences to the position with the intent to work with those I am in charge of to help them be and do what is in the best interest of all the county residents. My personal agenda has no place in this position, as I will be representing all citizens of Scottsbluff County. Again, I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to serve and apologize for not being able to make it to the forum in person. God bless and have a great evening. Now, Charlie, we'll ask you the questions that we had tonight. We'll start with what motivated you to run for re-election?
I really enjoyed my first 4 years on the board. Well, it's only been about 3.5 years right now, but I've had a great time working with this board. I think we're a board that works well together. The last 3.5 years have been an opportunity for me to take a deep dive into county operations, and I've also made some relationships with other commissioners and other elected officials across the state of Nebraska, and I would like to continue working in those roles and continue improving upon the changes we have made here at Scottsbluff County since I've been on the board. I currently sit on the Nebraska Association of County Officials Board of Directors, the Panhandle District Association. I am the president of that Panhandle District Association, and I also sit on the National Association of County Officials Telecom and Technology Steering Committee. So those are regional, state, and national boards that I sit on, and those steering committees have some ongoing work, and I would like to be part of that ongoing work for for 4 more years. Those positions or the positions I hold in those areas are beneficial to Gearing, to Scottsbluff County, to the Panhandle, and to the state as a whole.
What areas of county government interest you the most and why?
So I'm a big fan of county tourism. That's one of the fun things that we get to do is market Scottsbluff County. I told my constituents back in 2018 when I was campaigning. I told them about my history in tourism. I was a ambassador, a tourism ambassador for the town of Hilton Head, South Carolina, for 7 years. I studied hospitality at the University of South Carolina in Beaufort, South Carolina. I also worked in event production and event creation, putting on events such as half marathons, marathons, triathlons, and those sorts of events up and down the East Coast. And so I really saw those are some of the fun things I get to do is work with the tourism committee here. And then we've really made some drastic changes in our IT department here at the county. We've made some drastic changes at the jail since I've been on the board, and we've got some more shakeup to do to make the county more efficient, and I would like to continue working on those projects.
Paid holidays for employees continue to be a subject of debate between the board and the personnel committee. How many paid holidays should staff receive per year, and why?
Staff should have 12 paid holidays. I want the county to recognize Juneteenth as a national holiday. It's an important date in our country's history, and it's an opportunity for us to celebrate the freeing of the slaves. That was a difficult time in our country's history, and celebrating that can really change the perception and just the perception of the holiday, and it should be something that's celebrated. So I think we need to stick with 12 holidays, but I do think we need to acknowledge Juneteenth as a holiday.
When it comes to administration of the departments reporting to the board, what is the proper level of oversight that commissioners should exercise?
So each commissioner is assigned a department. I supervise the tourism director and the IT department, which is contracted out to Bites. The best role there is to provide oversight, support, and performance evaluations, and to do corrective action when needed. We need to stay out of the day-to-day micromanaging of departments, but we do need to have a presence. Everybody needs to know that they are being evaluated at all times, and that's how we get the best out of our employees.
The county has hundreds of miles of paved and graveled roadways, many of which could use improvement. What ideas do you have to speed up the process?
So we have over 900 miles of gravel. We have just under 200 miles of pavement. We have American Rescue Plan Act money that needs to go into long-term investments that are going to provide long-term benefits to the taxpayer. So we can speed up those projects. I am also, due to my work with the Nebraska Association of County Officials and the National Association of County Officials, I know about and we get to lobby and steer how the bipartisan infrastructure bill is going to be divvied out and spent. And we've already got our ear to the ground on that, and we're already preparing for the grants and opportunities to get money from that infrastructure bill. It's going to be different than the American Rescue Plan Act. The American Rescue Plan Act was just an allotment, a cash handout to the counties. The infrastructure bill is going to be a competitive grant process. So we need to be on top of the ball. We need to be prepared to submit those grants when they come due, and those are the sorts of things we need to do to get those roads in good condition.
Okay. Charlie, what role should the county play when it comes to development of workforce and also workforce housing?
I don't know that the government needs to be involved in development. You know, that is best left to private industry. 4 years ago, when I stood on people's doorsteps and talked to them about the issues that mattered to them, you know, a lot of times they told me they didn't like the county's involvement in Twin City development. They said Twin City development does a lot of great work for the area, but the county doesn't need to be financing Twin City development. And you know, actually, Twin City development has come to us each of the past 3 years, and 3 years ago they asked us to give them less money. 2 years ago they told us to give them no money, and then again this year they're not asking for any additional money. So Twin City development is going to continue doing what they do best and work on those housing issues for us. But we're no longer involved in financing the operations of Twin City development. So I think that's a positive step in the right direction.
If a horse racing track and casino are built outside of Gering, the county stands to receive a considerable amount of funding from the industries. What would be the best use of such revenues?
So right now it's projected that the county itself will receive about $12.5 million from that operation. The city of Gering will also receive about $12.5 million from that operation, and this is over 10 years. And then the state of Nebraska will receive about $70 million from those operations, and that $70 million that goes to the state that goes directly to the property tax relief fund. The $12.5 million that come to each the city and the county, those can go to general government operating duties. So that money needs to go to long-term investments, roads, bridges, HVAC improvements, capital improvements around the facilities. As long as we spend that responsibly in a way that's going to provide long-term benefits to the taxpayer, we'll be in a much better situation.
As you well know, commissioners also sit as the Board of Equalization. What do you believe is the proper balance to strike when considering valuation protests?
So I've sat through 3 protest seasons, and it's been a learning experience all 3 times, and it's difficult. Typically somebody will come in with their comparables, and they will have comparables of properties that are valued lower than the property that they're protesting, and that's a great job by that property owner to provide us with that information, and that's what's required of that property owner. However, there are also times, that's kind of cherry picking. There's also going to be properties in the area and in the neighborhoods that are similar but valued higher than the property being protested. So it's the job of the board to go out and do that extra research to find out, how does this equalize? Is this house equalized with the comps that the protester brought in? But we also have to make sure this property is equalized with the other comps in the area. So we work hand in hand with the assessor. I think anyone who's been here to protest their valuations has had a relatively, I wouldn't say enjoyable, but a relatively fair experience. And we take that job very, very seriously. If you don't like your property valuation, I would encourage you to come in, speak to the Board of Equalization in the month of July.
Many top administrative positions in the county are also elected. What would you do to foster a spirit of cooperation with those offices?
We need more people to run for those elected offices. the county attorney, the treasurer, the assessor, the clerk, the register of deeds. We need more people to run for those. Right now, a lot of those positions are unopposed, and so those elected officials don't answer to the voters often enough. A lot of times those other elected officials will stand here in front of the commissioners and ask for a raise, or they'll come here and stand before the commissioners and ask for a raise for their employees. But they don't have to answer to the voters. When the media reports something, the media reports that the commissioners approved or denied, but it was very rare that the media reports what the assessor's asking for or what the treasurer is asking for. Those politicians also need to be called on the carpet and go on record for what they're asking for. And if that happened more often, I think we would see more competition for those seats.
What is your stance on unfunded state and federal mandates, and why do you feel that way?
So I was in Lincoln 2 Mondays ago, lobbying in the rotunda for the first round of debate on LR 263CA. LR 263CA is would be a constitutional amendment that would go onto the ballot in November for the voters to decide if the state legislature should or shouldn't mandate the counties and other political subdivisions to increase services. If the state legislature is going to tell us that we have to provide more services, the state legislature should also send money to help the county increase those services. This happens at schools, this happens at fire districts, this happens to cities, and this happens to counties, and any other political subdivision that levies a tax on the taxpayer. So it is vital that we get this LR passed, LR 263CA. So we need voters to call their state legislator and tell them to get this thing passed. I'm going to take my extra 30 seconds here.
That's fine. Go ahead.
So this is a very important topic for me. So I kind of lost my train of thought. Unfunded mandates are how the state raises property taxes on citizens without raising the state property tax or raising the state sales tax or appropriating their own money. So this is a way for the state to blame property tax increases on other political subdivisions. That has to stop, and we need the entire public to join us in that fight.
So if you're reelected at the end of your next 4-year term, how would you define success?
I think success 4 years from now looks like a jail that continues to not be a drain on the county budget. I campaigned 4 years ago telling people that the county jail was mismanaged. The county jail used to take an additional $1 million approximately from the county inheritance tax fund to stay balanced. Since Sheriff Overman has been in charge of the jail has run very efficiently. It becomes more and more efficient as Sheriff Bonnie Cotant and Troy Brown work to make the jail more efficient. More success would be continuing to improve our IT operations. When I joined the board 4 years ago, we found out that 80% of our IT infrastructure was out of date, past end of life. That means it's not eligible for security patches, which leaves us vulnerable to cyber attacks. Goshen County experienced a nasty cyber attack. Gage County in eastern Nebraska has experienced a nasty cyber attack. Scotts Bluff was Scottsbluff County was very vulnerable 4 years ago, and when we learned this, we also learned that it was going to cost about $800,000 to upgrade that infrastructure. So what we had to do was we had to find a creative way to flatten that cost, because if we were going to outlay $800,000 to upgrade the IT infrastructure, then we would see that cost come back every 5 to 7 years when you have to upgrade IT infrastructure. So what we did is we ended up leasing space and creating space inside the Bytes data center in downtown Scottsbluff. Other businesses lease that space, other counties lease that space, and so we're cost sharing. And I would like to see more cost sharing across the Panhandle. Other counties, join this data center, and I got a lot more to share, but I've got a time limit, so thanks.
Well, that was my last question, so you get another minute here for a closing statement that you want to leave the voters with here tonight.
Okay, I just want to tell the voters that when I talked to you 4 years ago on your doorstep, I told you the county jail was mismanaged. I told you Stegall Road needed to be prioritized. I told you I could find efficiencies here at the courthouse and the administration building. I advocated for a more appropriate use of county levied lodging tax, and I took an oath that I would protect and stand up for the Constitution. In 2020, when the state legislature was trying to enact red flag laws, I proposed a resolution here in Scottsbluff County to make Scottsbluff County a Second Amendment sanctuary county. 13 months later, 89 other counties had signed on to that, and the governor made the entire state Second Amendment sanctuary. We fixed Stegall Road. We paid cash for that. We didn't bond Stegall Road. We haven't had any new bonding since I've been on the board. When they paved Sugar Factory Road 8 years ago, they laid down a 15-year product, and they paid for it with a 20-year bond. Those are the types of decisions this board has not made in the last 4 years. We're paying cash, we're staying efficient, we're not bonding anymore, and I'd like to be here for 4 more years.
We'd like to thank Charlie, one of the candidates running for Scottsbluff County Commissioner District Number 3, for participating in tonight's forum. We hope this helps you in deciding who you wish to vote for. As a reminder, in the May 10th primary election, you'll be allowed to vote for one candidate. The top vote getter in the primary election will advance to the November general election, most likely unopposed, as no other candidates have filed from other parties. This candidate's forum is one of several being presented by the Government Affairs Committee of the Scottsbluff-Gearing United Chamber of Commerce. We again would like to thank the Rural Radio Scottsbluff staff for recording this forum so you can view it, the timers from WNCC for volunteering, the Chamber staff, and Scottsbluff County Clerk Kelly Sides for hosting us this evening in the Commissioner's Room. On behalf of the Scottsbluff-Gearing United Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee, and for my co-chair Don Wolf, I'm Bill Boyer. Thanks for joining us, and remember to get out and